Okay, now we're going to work on submitting assignments to Blackboard, and this is usually a fairly simple process. However, there are a handful of things that can get in your way when you're trying to do this for the first time. So we're going to go ahead and run through how you do this in the tutorial to complete your core documents assignment, and we'll make a couple of notes about how it might be different in your online class. Now, as you read through the core documents assignment, I can see right here, here's my assignment link, and it gives me the directions and descriptions of what I need to do. So I know that I need to open this core documents sheet, I need to read through it, and then I need to open my assignment link, read through those directions, respond to it, save it, and submit it. So that's the process we're going to go through, and first I want to go ahead and open up my core documents. Now you can see that this is a PDF, and that should be opened by anyone on any computer at any time. It should be fairly simple. You can see that it opened up in a new window here. So I'm just going to scroll down, I'm going to read through my entire document, make sure that I understand all of the different statements, and then I'm going to go ahead and go back to my class because I need to get the other document now. And you can see again it opened in a new tab. To access the class, all I got to do is click over here, and now I can see my core documents assignment, and this is in an RTF file, which is a rich text format, and that should also be opened by any computer regardless of whether or not you have Microsoft. So I'm going to click on there. And then I can see this little window, and it says it wants to open the file. It assumes, my computer assumes that because I have Microsoft Word, that that's the program that I want to open it with, which is fine. If you do not have Microsoft Word, there should be some sort of word processing software prompted right in here. If you don't seem to find it or it's not making any sense, you can click the drop down, go to Other, and see what your choices are. You're looking for anything that is a word processing program. That could mean just about anything, but normally your default is going to pop right up. If you don't see a whole lot of options or you're really not sure, it's not working out for you, if you click Save File, it will go, if for example I'm in Firefox right now, which is the browser, and remember we mentioned earlier that it's very, very important to have several browsers on your computer so that if one doesn't appear to be working, you can go to the other one. So in Firefox, if I hit save, it will go into a download file, and I can open up the file from that area. And that's sort of a little workaround that I personally use when I use Firefox. IE is going to give you more trouble with documents. So again, as we mentioned earlier, Internet Explorer, that little blue E, is a really good backup in case something else goes wrong with Firefox, with Chrome, with Safari, but it really shouldn't be your primary. It's going to give you more trouble, and trust me, you're just going to want your life to be a whole lot easier when you're taking online and hybrid courses. So keeping it there as a backup is good, but I wouldn't use it as your standard. So I'm going to go ahead and open it with my Microsoft Word, since I do have that program. And you can see that it'll load up, and this is the download screen I was talking about. And now this is, if you have Microsoft Word, this is what you will see. Now this is my Cloud Connect, so you don't have to worry about that. You probably don't have that on your computer. But now I can open up and I can see that this is my core documents assignment. It indicates that there are the 5 statements here. I researched the sisters, I researched the history, and now I got to think, okay, how am I going to actually live out these things when I'm a student at Fontbonne? And I know that based on the directions that I've opened up this document in a word processing, and so I can just type my response here. And I can go ahead and write obviously more than that. I'm going to go ahead and go up in the left-hand corner, and I'm going to see my little save icon. I'm going to hit save. And then it's going to ask me where. Where do you want to save it? Now, depending on whether or not you're working on a PC or a Mac, you're going to see it a little bit different. Obviously, my setup is going to be quite different from yours. But if I scroll up and down here, it gives me all of the location options, and I can just save it to my hard drive in my computer. I can save it to my network drive here, or I can just keep it very, very simple, and I can just save it to my desktop. Okay? And let's say, I think I already have one here, so I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to name this assignment 2, and I'm going to hit save. Okay. And now I can go ahead and get out, and again, don't worry about that, that's my cloud. Go ahead and click out of the document, and I can click out of my downloads, and then I'm right back to my screen. Now I know I've read through my document, I've answered my questions, and I've saved the document on my computer. Now I actually have to submit it to Blackboard, because remember, just because you typed out your response and you saved it to your computer does not mean that your instructor has it. I still have to take one more step. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the title here, and this is my assignment link. If I click there, then I'm going to see that I have an upload assignment option. It's going to give me my instructions. If my instructor includes a due date in the Grade Center, that's going to pop in here. It's going to include my points possible, any other documents that I need. And now below here are my assignment materials in number 2. Now there are 2 ways to submit assignments in Blackboard. One is to actually use this submission box. That would be a really good example if you were to, let's say an instructor were to just ask you a very simple question, and they'll ask you to, say, respond in 2 or 3 paragraphs or in a brief essay, and they don't mind you going ahead and putting in the submission box. So I can go ahead and type in my response here and then submit it, and then they are going to go ahead and get that in the Grade Center. That is actually not the typical way that it's done, however. Most instructors will want you to do what you have to do for the orientation, and that's go down to this area that says Attach File. I'm going to click Browse My Computer, and now you can see it gives me all of the options that I had here before for saving it. Now I remember that I saved it to my desktop, so I'm going to make sure that I'm there, but if for some reason I can't quite remember where I saved it, if you look in the upper right hand corner, it's going to give you a search box, and you can always tell it's search from this little magnifying glass here. I'm going to go ahead and click that, type in either the name that I think the file is called or part of the name, and see what results it comes up with, and I can usually find my file that way. But because I remembered where I was saving mine, I was saving it as Core Documents Assignment 2. So I'm going to click on that so that it's highlighted, and then I'm going to scroll down to Open, and now you can see that it is attached. If I named it something very, very odd, okay, for some reason I named it something strange and it doesn't really make any sense, I can go ahead and change that in the link title here. You can go ahead and include your name in there as well, but remember that when instructors open up your document, they're opening it from a file that has your, or I'm sorry, a section of the Grade Center that has your name on it. So chances are they're going to know who it's from. As long as you have your name in the document itself, you're good to go. So you can see that it's all there. This is the part that gets confusing. There's a little section here that says do not attach. It is fine. As everything is set right now, it's completely and totally fine. If I click do not attach, it'll say, hey, do you really not want this on here? I would say, no, cancel, I'm fine, that is exactly what I wanted. If you do make a mistake though, and you realize that you put the wrong document in there, you can click that and then do the process over. The last section I want to talk about is the comments area here. And so when you're submitting your assignment, there may be something you want your instructor to know. Let's say you answered number 2 to the best of your ability, but you were a little confused by the question. And you thought that they meant this, but then you started thinking they meant something different. You may want to go ahead and type in any notes to the instructor saying if any part of the assignment was confusing to you, if you think that there's a part of the assignment that required more clarification than you put, if you want to give feedback about the assignment itself, if you really enjoyed it and you thought it was beneficial or you didn't particularly like it. Those are different things that you can put into the comments area, and when your instructor opens your assignment and grades it, they can see the comments there as well, and those can be very helpful for them to assess where you are as a learner and try to get to understand what you're attempting to do and how you're progressing in the class. So the comments area can be very helpful. Scroll down to the very bottom. When I'm all done, I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. You can hit save as draft here, but realize when you do that, the instructor will not get your document. That's very, very, very important. You may think that you've done this, but you haven't. So please make sure that you hit the submit bar. Once you hit submit, then you will see this review submission history. You'll see this little green success mark. It'll say, yes, you're good to go, everything's fine. You can scroll down here and it will give you the submission time right down to the second. And it will tell you exactly what comments you have, whether or not the assignment still needs to be graded, which obviously it does, and then the attached file that you have in there. Okay. If you have multiple submissions, you can go ahead and start a new one. Otherwise, in most cases, you're just going to click OK. So now I know that I've done it, but let's say I'm really, really nervous and I'm just not sure and I don't feel comfortable and I want to be absolutely positive. There is one more way for you to check. If you go down to my grades, you can see this is the listing of all the different things that we've done in this class. And if I scroll down here, I can see here's my core documents assignment. And I can see again the time that I submitted it. And now I see this little green exclamation mark. What that means is that I did submit the assignment. It's there. I got everything in. I am good to go. So that is a very, very good sign. When you see that, you know that you're set. You know that you're fine, and you don't have to worry about it anymore after that. Now, it is important to know that if you see that that is missing at all, if this doesn't show anything, if this doesn't really give a time, then that means that the instructor did not get it, and you're going to want to go back and see what's wrong. Either contact your instructor or try the submission process again. Maybe you accidentally hit save as draft instead of submit, which is a common problem. So it's always a good idea to just double check. So if you check in your grades and you see that, then you are good to go.